Welcome to this video, interview questions and with advanced tasks in Power BI. So we have the question, find the count of sales that were greater than 2,200 on a single day of both regions. So we have a table here. We have two regions, Texas and Ohio, and we have lots of revenue. These revenues are with respect to the single day. And that means on 1st January, it is 1,500. On 1st, 2nd January, it is 2,300. 2nd January, the same day, it is having an additional of 2,100. So what you need to do is you need to sum up. It is like group by in SQL or group by in Power BI. You need to group by with respect to the date and region. And then we have to check whether the sales is greater than 2,200 and with both the cities. You need to test with Texas as well as Ohio. For this problem, we are having three kind of solutions. We are having multiple ways to solve this issue. In Power BI query, you can use group by, and you can use group by to group the data with the date and region and get the sum of the revenue. And once again, you can use the calculated column, or you can filter the table with respect to the region, Texas and Ohio. Then we can filter the table there itself with respect to the values which are above 2,200. And then you can take the count either by using DAX function or by using Power Query itself. So everything will get finished in Power Query itself. So this will be useful because this will be handy and it will gain the performance. Because after doing everything, only it will table and all the values will be getting loaded in the model. So the next way is fully DAX way. So you need to create the same, whatever functions you did in Power Query, the same entire functions you're going to do it in DAX, like creating the table by using summarize function and grouping it with date and region, and then calculating and filtering the table with respect to the region and with respect to the revenue, and then get the count of them. The third one is for doing anything, just directly write a measure. And in that measure, you have to get the table. You are using functions to create the virtual table, and with that virtual table, whatever has been done in these two, they are going to do it in virtual table, and you are going to count the result. So this will be costly because it will affect the performance. But still, we can do it as it will be like an advanced tax. So we are going to give the solution for it. We are going to write the solution for it. So first we will take up with using Power Query by group by option. And for letting know what all things are going, so we have this table. This is a table what we got. And this table is having date, region, and revenue. These are the date, region, and revenues. And you can see on dates of 2nd January, 2 times Ohio region, the value has been under. Only way to compare the values with respect to the count which has given us 2,200 is to sum up this. And to summing up this, you need to do the group by function. So if you are taking the group by function and if you are doing everything, you might get a result like this. And this result is with respect to the group by function. Once you do the group by, table like this will be created, and you can see on second you have got 4,400, but in this table which they have given, it is 2,100 and 2,300. So both together it should be summed and it should be shown, and this value should be greater than 2,000. There are certain regions that are having less than 2,200. There is Texas on 1st January, same Ohio, and then of course Texas on 1st February. So the remaining, it should count and it should be displayed. So initially we will go to Power Query using group by. For that we need to go to transform data and go to the Power Query. So we are in the Power Query editor. So of course this is the table. We don't want to use this table. For that we will do the reference of this table. We can change the name of this table. You can give it as, name it as Texas revenue. Here you can take another reference. This one you can rename it as Ohio revenue. And now here we need to you need to filter with respect to Texas. So you can deselect Ohio and only Texas you can get. Here in the next table, we will go and select only Ohio. So first thing is over. We have filter the region, and we are having two tables. And the next one is you need to group by with respect to the date to get the sum of the revenue. So you can go to transform and go to group by. And here we need to get with respect to the date, or you can give it as revenue itself. And what you need to do is you need to sum up which column. The column is revenue column. And you got it. And this is the column which we are going to get for Texas. Same way you can go to Ohio and you can do the group by with respect to the date. And here we are giving the new column as revenue. And we are going to sum up the revenue. Okay. So we got both the tables, and with respect to this both the tables, we are going to see which one is greater than or which one is less than. So that also you can filter it. You can go to revenue, you can filter it, number filters, greater than. So you can give this option greater than a selected value. You can give it as 2200. That's the one which we needed. So we got it. We got the two tables here also. In Ohio also you can go and you can select the revenue column and you can do the number filtering greater than 2200. So you got both the tables and you got exact value which we needed. You got in both the tables. Now only thing you need to get is get the count of this. So we have given all the filtering and we got the result of the table. Now we need to count these two and you can have to show it in the visual. Same way you need to count this much. Of course, since this is countable number in this table, you can do it. But if there are millions of records, then you can't count it like that. So for that, one more thing you can do is just click on the count rows and you will get the result here too. The same way for Ohio revenue also, you can just do the count rows and you will get the exact rows. Now you can go and close and apply. So we got this both the tables and these tables here we are going to get the count of the Ohio revenue and here we are going to get the count of the Texas also. So before doing that, you can go and check the data type, whichever is right, whether it is text or whether it is. So this is written as decimal number. We don't need it as decimal number. We just wanted it as whole number. Can change it. The same for Texas revenue also. You can change it to whole number. And here it goes. You can go to the visual pane and you can give the Ohio revenue count as 5. If you count it here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This one is not included because this is less than 2200. So this value is correct. The same way you can do it for Texas also. And select the Texas revenue and that is 2. And if you count it, Texas, this is not considered. This is also not considered. This is 1 and this is 2. So do this without writing any DAX function or anything. With the help of Power Query, you can get the. So in this way, without writing in a DAX function, you can get the count of whatever use case we had with respect to the revenue and the region and date. Can get the count and can show it in the Power Query itself, editor itself, in the Power Query editor itself, and you can show it through visualization. So the next way is through DAX table and the entire function, whatever we have done in Power Query editor, the entire thing we are going to do it in DAX. So we are going to create the table, we are going to filter it, everything is going to be done in DAX function. So we will create a table and we will summarize this company revenue with respect to the date and region. So we can write it as summarize company equals to summarize. And we have to do the table. Table name is company revenue. And we need to give the group by what all things you need to do the respective group by. First one is date. And the second one is region. And then the third one we don't have, we just need to write the name of it, revenue, and then we need to give the function for sum of revenue. Now we'll be getting a summarized table. Yeah, everything got added, and now we are having this values uniquely. You just need to change the date. The data type has been changed from date time to date. Now this summarized company should be divided to two tables by filtering it with Ohio and Texas and along with the revenue greater than 2,200. So the next table, this 1,500, whatever comes under 2,200 will be filtered and it will be shown. So we can create a new table for filtering the Texas. So filter Texas equals to, you can use calculate table, and the table is summary company, summarized company, and you can get the filter as region equals Texas, and one more filter you can give, and revenue greater than 2,200. So you got both the values here. The same way you can create another table for filtering the Ohio region also. Create the new table, filter Ohio equals calculate table. You can do the table as summarize company, and you can give what all you need to filter. The first one to filter will be the region. So region equals Ohio, and the next one will be the revenue. And the summarized company revenue is should be greater than 2,200. So now we got both the tables. One is for Ohio and the next one is for Texas. So these two tables, filter Ohio and filter Texas, we got the exact value. Now only thing you need is to count these values. For counting, you can just create a measure in the filter Ohio itself. You can create a measure for counting, count, and it should be from filter table, filter Ohio, and we need to get the revenue, and then it will be fine. We'll got the count for Ohio. Now we need to go to Texas filter. We can get the new measure. We will get the count for Texas also. Texas count equals to, just give the count function and filter Texas revenue. Select it here, and that is 2. We have given it here, it as revenue. Instead of that, you can give it as date. That will be a good customary way. Now we have done both two ways with the count of this with respect to region and date. So first one was Power Query, and second one is totally depending on DAX by creating two DAX tables, one with summary and then filter that summary with calculated table. Now directly we are going to write a measure instead of without creating all these tables. We are going to create everything virtually, and we are going to get the result of count with respect to Ohio and Texas. So first one, we are going to create a count for Ohio. So we'll write it as Ohio count equals as a first step. What we need to do is that from this table, you need to filter out all the values which are with respect to Ohio. So what we can do is we can create a variable and we can write it as region. Variable region equals, we can give the calculated table, and the calculated table name is company revenue, and we can give the filter as company revenue region equals Ohio. So we got the table in a variable. So we can use this variable in the next coming statement. So the next statement, Yes, to summarize the table. So now we got the table. We are having a table virtually with Ohio as its region. So we don't have any this entire table we are having, but the entire table only Ohio is having in that. The Texas value is not there. So now we need to summarize this or group by this table, this region table. So what we can do is that we have to do it virtually. So we will create a variable for that. We can name it as group equals summarize, and we can get the table. The table is actually region. Why the table is region is because now we are not going to do anything with respect to the company revenue. What we are having the table right now is this region table. So we are giving that region table, and now we are going to give the date, the region, and the group. That is sum of. We need to give the column name, the revenue, and then sum of which column it is revenue. So we got the summarized group here. So right now what we are having is a table like this, which is having only the region name as OU. Everything has been summed up. So now the next thing is that you need to filter the values which are greater than 2200. So you can create a variable for that. You can create it as variable revenue filter equals to calculate table. So now we are going to filter this group with respect to the revenue that are greater than 2200. So we are going to get the calculated table, and this table you need to filter this table and you have to fill it inside calculated table. So for that you need to write the filter command, filter this table. What is the table? That is group table, and the filter expression is in that group we were having the total, that is revenue. The revenue was there, and that revenue should be greater than 2200. So that is a filter we wanted to use. Now you can return it, and you can call the count rows, because we have everything. We got it in a table. Now we need to just show the table. The table will be revenue filter, and rename it as count over here. You can check whether this is working. You can get a This is the count of you can give it here, and you got the result as 5. The same result what we were expecting. Everything we have written in the same measure. First we are filtering the region based upon the entire table, and that we are storing in a variable. The next step will be to summarize that variable with respect to the date and region. That also we are storing it in a variable called group. The next one is you need to filter this summarized group. So we are storing it as in a variable called revenue filter, and we are filtering it with respect to the revenue that are greater than 2200. And finally, we will be getting a virtual table that will be inside revenue filter. And that what we need to do is that just need to count the entire table. So we can use the count rows and revenue filter, and you'll be getting the entire count, whatever it is. The same way we can create a measure for Texas also. So we are going to Texas count equals to, first we will create a variable filter Texas, we'll calculate a table, and we will filter it company revenue, and we will filter whatever region is there. Only for Texas we will filter it. And next we are going to use the variable and filter this table group Texas equals to summarize, and we need to summarize the table, and this is the table we need to summarize. Filter Texas, and we need to group by date. Then we need to group by region. Then we need to give a name. Name is a revenue. And we will use the sum of revenue. And we got the summary. Now we can create a variable underscore filter revenue equals to calculate a table. And here we need to give the filter condition and get the table, and table will be group Texas. And we need to filter the total, revenue greater than 2,200. Now we can return. So we have to call the count rows, and the table will be filter revenue. And we can try it here. We got it right. There's a difference between these two measure. If you see it in the summarized column, here in that count over here, we have taken the region table, but we have used the columns of that company revenue itself. It was also working, but the right way of using it is through this way, where we have taken the filter Texas, this column, this variable has a otherwise this table, and we have taken the exact columns from this table. We didn't go back and get the columns from the company revenue. We got the columns directly from this Texas, filter Texas. The same way here also we got it. So this will be a better way to write the measure exact way instead of using this way, like getting the name on all the values from the previous column. So these are the three ways where you can count this, where you can count the revenues with respect to the region and date. If there is any other way without compromising the performance, please comment it below. Thank you. Have a nice day.